And we'll just welcome new folks in as they are joining. If there's some stuff in here, some good content that you think you may want to revisit later, it's all recorded. Hi, Rania. So good to see you. Woo, another rock star I get a chance to spend my mornings with. That's so good. And I really hope that you see this as a conversation. So I have some of the soul searching and processing work that I've been doing, and just ask my husband, I can't not do it. I can't not turn that brain off. That's part of my challenge, is wind down. All you mindfulness experts, I'm jealous of your superpower there. But you know, the benefit of having that wheel always going and processing is that I think I've probably been able to find ways to pivot and shift in this uncertain environment pretty quickly. And maybe that's also because I'm kind of an accidental entrepreneur to begin with. I thought to myself, and Rhonda, you'll relate to this. I thought, oh, I'd love to have my own business at some point. Maybe when my pension gets a little bigger, or we don't have a mortgage, or you know, my kids don't need me anymore. I had all of these conditions on when I was allowed to step into this entrepreneurship realm. And the reality is, and this is my family a couple of years ago, my son Justin and my daughter Simone, my husband that I'm dutifully raising and molding into the wonderful, wonderful 52-year-old that he is. No, I'm just joking. He actually will tell you that I am, you know, he's molding me too. Let's just all agree there. But the point is, we didn't really think entrepreneurship fit our family. My husband and I both had stable jobs in the not-for-profit sector. He's a teacher. I was a senior leader in a hospital. And then my son got sick, really sick. And we thought, and I don't mean physically sick, he had mental health issues that we were worried that he wouldn't make it through. So all of a sudden, that makes you very, very serious about exploring other options. Am I right? If you've had a similar situation in your life where your entire plan shifts, welcome everybody who just joined us. If you've had a similar situation in your life, whether it be worried about your kids, worried about your spouse, worried about your parents, worried about your marriage, worried about your own well-being, if you can relate, just type in the chat, yeah. Because I think we all have these sort of come to Jesus moments where we realize that there's something else we want to do in the world. And that's actually how I became an entrepreneur as soon as I did. And I'm happy to say 5.5 years later, here I am, so thrilled to be connected with all of you. And so you won't notice anywhere on my website things about entrepreneurship coaching or programs that I have, because it's not what I do normally. I'm a recognition expert. I speak internationally on recognition, but as many of the speakers and other folks on the line who need physical people to be in the same room, our business collapsed, right? Just like, you know, Denise, you were talking about as a travel agent, our businesses all of a sudden changed. So we have to learn and figure out ways to shape shift as we go. And that's part of what I wanted to tell you about, is to really transparently tell you about a little bit about my journey here. Yeah, so lots of you can relate to that whole life changing and throwing you curveballs. So the good news for all of us who can say, yeah, I can relate to that, is we actually have all of the life and perhaps even business skills required to be able to evolve in this changing time. And the thing is, what I've learned along the way is that it's really easy to get completely overwhelmed very, very quickly. So what I don't want to share with you are ways to just continue to feel that way. I mean, Rhonda, you didn't retire from corporate just to be overwhelmed in your next act, right? How we get exhausted and totally fatigued, how we're constantly, you know, running after business and we feel like we can't, you know, keep up with that. I want to share with you suggestions about how to also have your well-being and your time back, and also to not be on firefighting mode as much as we may, if we don't intentionally build our businesses at this time in a way that is sustainable. What I'm hoping for all of you is, if other revenue streams aren't working for you right now, and we're going to talk about revenue streams in a second, I'm thinking there's probably going to be all kinds of creativity that's going to come out of this experience where you're going to have new revenue streams. And what I'm hoping for all of us is that those are stable revenue streams so that they can be there for when life gets back to normal in 12, 18 months, whatever it is, based on our industry and the folks that we serve, and not be overwhelmed. So that's one big thing. And if you agree with that, like, how do we pivot and adjust and build and create in a way that then doesn't make us more overwhelmed on the other side of it? If you agree, just type agree in the chat, because I don't want anyone to feel more overwhelmed on the other side of this. So here's sort of key anchor. Yeah, lots of agrees. So thank you guys. So here's four key things that I've learned the hard way. So I don't want anyone else to do things the hard way. Four key anchors that I always use in my business. And this has been a real test for it, my friends. Total transparency. It's been a huge test for it. If we don't have credibility in our core area of expertise and find a way to be able to keep in that space, it's really easy to get distracted and just squirrel and chase after shiny things. I know all kinds of really talented people who are spending all kinds of time. How do you lead virtual teams and 101 virtual team building exercises, and yet they do something completely different, and yet they're going out to the broader community and saying, we have all this to offer. And if it fits with your brand already, I mean, we've got Patricia on the line here. Patricia, you make presentations and other resources to be able to deliver a learning content in an engaging way. It absolutely makes sense that you'll be teaching people how to do that in this virtual world, as well as, of course, once we're in front of audiences, how to do this in the live world too. That makes total sense for your brand. What I don't want, hopefully, anyone to feel like is now I have to be a completely different person, which is why even when I do entrepreneurship things, I still don't put it on my website. I still don't put it out to my entire list, because I don't want to create confusion of my core clients that I depend on, of working with on the long term. Wait a minute, does she do that anymore? And I also don't want them thinking that they don't matter to me just because I can't work with them right now. And that means we kind of have to get creative. So what's in the next product or service that we might be able to tag on there? But the cautionary tale is not to have too many things going on at the same time, so that we can do each thing really well. Connectivity, Rhonda, you talked about how so much of your business has come from existing clients. Good on you, girl, because you know what? It probably will keep coming there. So we definitely can talk about how do you funnel people in, new people, and let people know that you exist, for sure. Absolutely. Let's keep casting the net wider. It's just, how do we do that in a way that brings the right people to us, as opposed to a mishmash of just anybody who will pay attention to us? And then finally, stability. How do we always build in stability into our business through technology, through people who can help us, through our own systems? That's why, for those of you who met me through the Adler Group, why I said, hey, if you want my standard operating procedure on how I create content, if any of you looked at it and you felt overwhelmed, I'm sorry. It took like 4 years to build, and we're always refining it. I actually just tweaked it a little bit more this week. But part of why we have that is because that's the only way I build stability in my business. So that if I have a new assistant start, I can onboard him or her quickly. Also, just frankly, so that I can pick up the pieces if something happens, my VA gets sick, or my marketing team all of a sudden is down a person and they can't respond to me quickly. So there's stability building things we can do in our business. And so this is sort of a framework that you're welcome to all have. You can if you don't have the business, this tool, I actually have this as a sort of built out tool further. You can just grab that if you go to greatnessbiz.com, which is a hidden website, because I don't want people to be brand confused. But if you don't have this tool, you're welcome to have it, because I talk about each one of these things in more detail. But you know what? That's business normal stuff that I knew going into this. Let's get real and let's talk about on the other side of it. Because let me tell you, I'm not getting in front of all these people. I'm not selling books right now. I'm not taking my daughter or my son with me to go to a speaking gig and us going and experiencing some cool new part of the world. None of that's happening because we can't be face to face. So when COVID-19 hit, the very first thing that I heard was the phone rang, and I think it was the 13th of March, and it was a bureau saying, really sorry to tell you this, Sarah, you're probably expecting this call, but a client has postponed. They were going to cancel, and we've talked them into postponing. And then I got another call, and then I got another call. Within that week, I had 6 engagements postponed or canceled. Let me tell you, that's a lot of zeros. That's the kids' tuition, you know, so this is a big deal. And I will admit to you, I completely freaked out and I panicked. I had planned on taking March break off with my kids. My kids are 17 and 15. I don't have a lot of March breaks left with them. My husband's a teacher, so we always like to just chill as a family. And I sat on the couch and I worked the entire time. I was very available to them, but I worked the entire time trying to create my recovery strategy. And this is part of what I'm going to share with you, is that recovery strategy. But at the same time here's my guiding principle of my work. And here's been the guiding principle of if something gets into the strategy or not, the current pandemic and post-pandemic strategy. Do I actually love to do this? If you don't love to do this, I mean, now granted, you have to feed your babies and you need to pay the mortgage. And, you know, there are definitely reality things. And I just hope that everyone through this still gets an opportunity to do what you love. And I'm absolutely confident that there is a way for you to continue to bring in revenue and be able to do it with what you love and in ways that you may find that you love it. I actually turned out love doing virtual keynoting and panel discussions. I had done only a few of them before COVID. Now I'm very fortunate to have been booked for a number of them. I actually love it. So, but you know, so the good news is that this situation is perhaps forcing us to do things and try things that we never would have before. And if you have full control, if you're building something new, do you actually think you're going to love it? That may be a really helpful filter. So let's just think about, let's fast forward a year from now, and you're able to look back in it and say it's successful. All the coaches on the line, you'll know this is a coaching question, isn't it? I'm going to offer you to unmute yourself and just in a sentence or two, what will you be saying about your business that you're really proud about, something that's working, an indicator of success? What will you be saying about your business from now? So just feel free to unmute yourself and say your name and what you'll be saying in a year from now. Or you can type it in the chat if you prefer. And you don't, by the way, have to know how you're going to do this, but this is just putting it out there to the universe and letting it conspire to help you be successful. What will you be saying in a year?
I'll go first. It's Paula.
Hi, Paula.
Hi. I'll be saying that it's been a really surprising year. Even after COVID, I can't believe that I was able to actually start a business. And I can't believe that people are actually, you know, recommending me because of the experiences that they have. So that's creating more opportunities that I don't even know where this could go.
Yeah. I love it, Paula. Thank you. And I love how you're committed to being here, even though you've clearly got kids in your life as well. So good on you, girl. Always prioritize yourself. I love it. Thanks, Paula. That was awesome. All right. Adrian mentioned that, sorry, I'm just going to go flip back through the chat here. Sorry. Okay. You feel free to unmute yourself here if you.
I'm gonna go next. It's Rhonda.
Hi, Rhonda. What will you be sharing with us?
So I think a year from now, I will be saying that I am really pleased and happy that I was able to build my business such that I was able to secure business from people I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And whether it be through referral from somebody I knew or through another source, that I was able to market such that I would be able to bring in business, and that my business has a foundation where I can continue to build on over the years.
Yeah, I love it. And I love that you just talked about building it, even if it's possibly through referrals, because that's also still, you know, people that know, like, and trust you, because they're the ones who are comfortable referring you, right? So that's great. And that definitely helps to make it sustainable. So Adrian talked about most of my clients from word of mouth. So similar thing. Nicole, you talked about growing your business over the past year. So that's awesome. Julie's going to say, I can't keep up with all these referrals. I love that, Julie. That's so awesome. Ranya's talking about, I'm saying that I am so grateful for what I learned. Oh, sister, see, this is why you're such a cool human. And you relaunched your business at an unusual time, and it made my business stronger. Because my friends, I think it's all women on the line. Sisters, if we can start, grow, and scale a business during COVID, I mean, really, there's nothing that's going to stop us. Denise is going to be saying, I'll be saying that I'm proud that I showed up and stayed connected with my client. Absolutely. And actually that's so we're going to actually jump right into, talking about that, Denise, because here's the thing is that this is lowering the waterline for anyone who has a business. This is lowering the waterline, and it's showing all of the cracks, all the things we've been able to avoid. This is part of my painful confession to all of you. There's been things I never got a chance to get to. I have a million excuses. If I'm on an airplane, I can't be, dealing with that performance issue. Or if I'm, if I'm busy writing a book, well, I don't have time to do the marketing or redesign my website. There's things that I've been putting off or I've been avoiding. Totally honest with you. And even though it's been pivoting and building new things time, I've also been fixing things because I've just told myself, I looked myself in the mirror and I said, Sarah, if you don't fix it now, when are you going to fix it? So, so there's been a lot of things that I've learned the hard way and the easy way over the last 5 years. And, Patricia, you're talking about, I thrived in 2020. When we can say that we faced our business at whether it's the beginning part of our business or we're adjusting things mid-business, when we can look ourselves in the eye and say that we fixed something, we can be even more proud of that, which hence the thriving. So I love that. So here's 3 key towers that I like to, when we're looking at that and the water is like rising, what are 3 things that it's been reinforced to me that these are key things. Number 1, we need to have more than one revenue stream. Unless you have a really good plan for saving your money and so that you can just ride it out. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be sharing the slide deck. A couple people asked, and I'll also be sharing this whole recording. There are some people who only want to do one thing and one thing only. For example, in the speaking world, there are some people who want a keynote for audiences of 2,000 or more people, and that's all they want to do. Well, you better have a really good savings, and not one that you dip into your retirement savings, but your actual savings. The rest of us probably need to diversify your revenue stream. Raving fans, that some of you have talked about already with having lots of referrals, that is essential in having a really strong brand. And I'm not a branding expert, but what I can tell you is that when people come and seek you out, part of it is because you're known for something, your expertise, your unique lens on the world, your intellectual property, your model. I actually reached out to somebody I was planning, I do a weekly newsletter to my main mailing list. And during COVID, I've been very responsive. What people are asking for is what I then go out and seek an expert and we do an interview, or I film a piece for, as opposed to what I normally do. You'll have noticed if you had my SOP. And if you don't have my content creation SOP, you're welcome to have it. Just email me, Sarah with an H at greatnessmagnified.com, and just write in the subject line SOP, which stands for Standard Operating Procedure. When I was interviewing an expert earlier this week, she talked about a model that she had heard from somebody. So I contacted that person. I said, hey, I hear that you've got this amazing resiliency and mental health model that's helping frontline healthcare providers through this crisis. And he said, yeah. How did you hear about me? And he hadn't even created that before COVID, but he is an expert in this space, but he created it through different webinars and educational sessions that he's been doing virtually. And now people are talking about it. So that's his brand, but extended into this new environment in this new way. So I'll tell you, I'm even seeing other people's brands show up that I'm now learning and connecting with people because I have different needs. I'm trying to find different experts to engage with my audience than I would have had before as well. So how do we do that? So one, when it comes to the revenue stream is you are who you are when the chips are down. This is where we can't fake it. you know, all the people, I don't know if, has anyone been getting an email from somebody that they haven't heard from in forever, and all of a sudden they're emailing them or they're sending them a LinkedIn message saying that they so want to connect with you and they so care about you? If you've gotten one of those messages lately, type yes. And you, like, you haven't heard from them when times were good pre-COVID, you didn't hear anything from them. Yes, see, lots of people are getting that. And it's, are we, are people, are we showing up for them? Just like, you know, Denise, what you were saying, you're going to be showing up for your clients even when they're not booking a trip with you. You're going to keep showing up for them. They will remember that because you may be one of the only people in their world that are showing up for them when you don't have to. And this is also a brand extension, because how people know you to be in the world is as much a part of the buying decision of the value that you can bring to them. I mean, my being a recognition expert and Frog Forever Recognize Others' Greatness, that's what I talk about. So I'll be honest with you, sisters, when I didn't know what to do in my business, the thing I knew how to do was recognize people. I have this thing called send out cards where I can send an electron, or I can order electronically through an app and through my desktop thank you cards to anyone around the world. I sent out 150 thank you cards during that first week. And I've sent out another 150 over the course of COVID. And this is not to be salesy or slimy. It's not, hey, can we work together or what? I mean, I typed up our favorite cookie recipe and I sent it out to people who have kids and, you know, people who have lost their position. I've sent out, like, I'm thinking about you, other speakers who I know are almost exclusively keynoters. I've been trying to send them messages. I mean, I can't say that I've reached everybody that I would love to be able to send it to, but what I'm hoping they know is I'm not just a recognition expert from the stage when it suits me and when you're paying me to be. I really believe that this stuff heals, and heals hearts, heals minds. And so in your version, I'm going to ask you to reflect for a second. How do you show up for people when you don't have to? Through whether it's Facebook Lives or creating a tool or an infographic or picking up the phone. What have you done? Yeah, Patricia, it is Wordle. You're right. What's something that you've done that you didn't have to do, that you didn't, and I don't mean you're doing it to try to get something like, I'm going to send you this free course, but really it's to try to get you to do this other thing. But like, what have you done for folks that, that you didn't have to? Made a phone call, wrote a testimonial on LinkedIn. Like, what's something that you've done? And if you're thinking like, I don't know if I have done something yet, that's okay. I'm going to challenge you to think about something. So yeah, Rania saying, you know, offer a complimentary session and checking in with clients. Rhonda, you've got a sending out personalized notes to people. Love it. Awesome. I know, Denise, you had talked about doing Pinterest. So inviting your people to get really excited about traveling again and creating a Pinterest board of exactly what you know your clients like. Sharon, you've been doing free Zoom classes. I love it. Adrian, sending out email to your clients with some suggestions about how they can further leverage their strengths. So important. Patricia, you've been doing tip sheets, instructional videos. You've also been generously sharing your knowledge, I noticed, on other people's webinars as well. Sharon, you've been doing mindfulness. Julie, free coaching. I love it. That's awesome. So definitely know that all of those things will pay you back in dividends on the long term. I posted in the Greatness Biz group 3 suggestions of how you can help to bring in revenue sooner than the long haul. But this tip around, you know, you are who you are when nobody's watching is going to help you both short term as well as long term. Because you know what, generally what I've been finding is there's a pretty, even though the intention of sending out the cards was not to necessarily immediately get business, honestly, I was just paralyzed. That was the only thing I could think of doing other than things for my family. I did a lot of baking and eating of carbs. That was the other things that I was doing too, and walking. But business-wise, I actually have seen a large number of those folks circle back and find ways that we can work together. So a few examples, other things like I'm painting kindness rocks with my kids for our local hospital for once we're able to, it's not potentially cross-contamination, we're going to give them. I've been sending out, you know, packages of support, little frog eye masks, just to brighten people's day. This, I've been hearing from a lot of providers that they feel that we will all forget them after all this is over. So I created this infographic on the top left just through Canva, and encouraged, I keep sending out a reminder every so often to my list to put it in their calendar to post this picture to remind people to thank healthcare workers after COVID is over. So Danielle, 85% of your folks are frontline, and you've been sending encouraging songs. I love that. Even like a Spotify playlist, like here's the on your way home from your busy shift calming playlist. I love it. That'd be so great. So here's, if you're not sure what your expertise is, so that people know who you are and what you do, and if you feel like you're not quite sure how to articulate it in our current, pandemic world, here's an easy formula. As an expert in, as a blank expert, I help, and who do you help? Solve, what do you do? So as a recognition expert, I help healthcare workers feel appreciated when they're exhausted so that you can keep coming back and supporting us. That is one of the things that I'm doing right now. It's not about getting money, because no hospital can afford to pay me right now, because they don't have money, they don't have the energy for that, and so forth. Coming into this, I would say, as a recognition expert, I help healthcare organizations solve their talent shortage through recognition so that they keep their best people. Nobody's worried about that right now. Yes, they should be worried, but nobody's worried about that right now, because I'm not speaking on the stages. So this formula works if you're adjusting it and you're pivoting. And it also works for you to be able to serve a few different audiences. I don't only work with frontline providers. Those are my people. I'll always have huge heart. That and women, of course. And we're all women, right? You attract just the people that you love. But I encourage you, if you don't have this clearly written out, it's really important to do that. And if you've been thinking to yourself, I can't serve my people right now during COVID, I'm going to challenge you, take a screen capture. You'll be able to see this afterwards too, so that you realize that you actually can serve people incredibly well during this time. And if you want to, you're welcome to try to fill this out and put this in the chat as well. And that way we get to know each other about what you do. In fact, I'm going to take a screen capture of this, put it in Greatness Biz, introduce yourself this way in how you're showing up as an expert right now, so that maybe we know people who we can direct your way. So we'll also, continue this on in the Facebook group. And then it's what you do for folks when the chips are down. This is this sort of diversified revenue stream approach, is how else can you serve people? So these are the revenue streams that I have, and it may seem like it can be really overwhelming because there's multiple. However, not all of them are the main thing that I market. Not everything is something that I'm actively building or working on. But I'll tell you, my friends, I'm so grateful that there isn't just one or two streams of income, because when it's not zero anymore, but it was zero as of, a couple weeks ago in the keynote speaking realm, when it was over 50% of my income before. Coaching has taken a huge jump. Same with the virtual programs and offerings. So when you have multiple revenue streams, and you can build this out over time, those of you who are thinking about launching, how do I launch? What's sort of my expertise? You're still working on that. Don't worry, you don't need to have this all figured out. And you also don't build this overnight either. However, knowing that you have multiple ways you can serve the world also allows you to be able to serve people in different situations and in different circumstances. Because here's the reality. My speaking revenue has gone down 90%. Training, there is zero training dollars happening right now. No books are being sold and no products are being sold, because almost all my books and products I sell going into an event or out of an event. Coaching, it's up 100%. Virtual programs, 150. Consulting's even up. So the benefit is from a cash flow standpoint, it's actually, I'm fortunately not behind in revenue. It's taken a lot of hustle and shifting and work to be able to, balance things out. But I want to share this with you, not because it's bragging, although I think as women, we can be pretty confident in ourselves, but I want to share this with you because we can really get caught in scarcity. And all of you who are coaches, you totally get what I'm saying here, right? It's very easy to get in scarcity that nobody has any money right now. And I'm telling you that your loyal raving fans are the ones who are willing to find the resources, and they're probably the ones who know somebody who needs what you have to offer. So I just want to share this with you, because if you have a number of revenue streams and you have and you may be creating them, and they may not have been things you've thought about before COVID, but that's okay, because this is the opportunity. As many of you said, what you'd like to say in a year from now is that you were able to look back on it and reinvented some things, or that it was successful despite the obstacles, that you were able to be creative through it. This is what allows us crisis and opportunity. You know, that whole overly used Chinese symbol of, you know, of what crisis, it's danger and opportunity. I think we all really believe that. And for those of you who are in the Adler group, this is an opportunity to build this out further. Here's another lens to be able to look at your business do you have free things that you can offer people that allow them to experience you, that allow them to be served and get lots of value from you? Freemiums is the world they use it in the tech world. You know how you can get Slack up to, let's say, 10,000 messages for free, and then after that you have to pay? Canva, you can design beautiful images, but not every single design, only some of them. That's the freemium model. I'll tell you that behind asking people at a speaking event if they want to get something from me in the future, you know, a newsletter, I'll tell you, having free content, valuable content on my website has been the second best way to build my list. And without my list, my friends, I would not be able to give you those numbers that I just shared with you, because people are able to purchase things that are different than they would have, let's say, traditionally thought about what I have to offer. And you also can look at, how can I build something quickly that may be a low cost investment, but it's also low touch. So it may be a brief virtual program. It could be 1 or 2 coaching sessions, as opposed to, let's say, having a big bundle. Maybe you have something a little bit higher touch. A few of us are in a writing group that I've started since COVID. Never had time to do it before because I couldn't be reliable to you. Like, even if I wanted to, I wouldn't have been reliable if I'm on an airplane somewhere. I don't think all my seatmates would mind, even if I managed to get good Wi-Fi in the air, about me chatting with all of you. But right now, while I'm at home, you know, can do that. So it's a bit higher touch, but it's a price point that most people, if not everybody, can afford. And then finally, those high touch options. One of the things about us speakers, coaches, and trainers is that usually we have a lot at the high touch option, but not as many things in the middle. So what would be some of the things that you can think of that would be one of the tests for low cost, low touch? It's that this is a no-brainer. It's just so easily affordable that I don't even have to think about it. Can you think about something that you've purchased or that you have available that is one of those low cost, no brainer, easy to purchase things? What's something that you've purchased or that you have available that's low cost or low touch?
I just have a thought
Yes.
for myself.
Yeah, please.
Because I teach mindfulness. So maybe that's doing just some sessions that are maybe $10 or $5 or something. So if there's, 10, 20 people on there, then what I like about the Zoom is I can reach people from even further than the area that I normally do. Yeah. So I know there's a lot out there for free though also. So, and I'm doing some for free for organizations, just as my give back. Yeah. So it's like, okay, will people pay? I think some people would. Yeah. Especially if you know how good you are at what you do.
And Sharon, here's the thing. And this is what I'm so glad that you raised that, because there's, I think, 2 pieces I want to emphasize. One is, just because it's available for free doesn't mean to say people aren't going to buy it. I mean, how many blog posts are there out there? And yet has anybody bought a book lately? Type yes if you've bought a book lately. If you have, type yes. I have. I've bought so many books. They haven't all come in yet because it's taken a while to get my books, but I have. You could probably get that content online from that author in various versions, from their blog posts, their LinkedIn, their downloadable free tools. but we buy the book because it's all contained in one place, and because somebody recommended it that we like, or we want to have it on our shelf to refer to, and we're too busy to go everywhere, you know, to find it. So Sharon, you know, finding a way to message that, because they like you, they know you, they trust you, you're a guru in it. Maybe you make it really, you hold people accountable. So perhaps it's every Friday from 6 to 7, it's your, you know, wind down from online work meditation program, and that it's an affordable thing that people are like, yeah, you know what, the cost of me not winding down post being on Zoom, you know, in a bad way all week to transition into my weekend, the cost of not doing it is more than the cost of doing it. So don't worry that there's free stuff out there, because people want and need easier things. So Danielle, you've got some training sessions. Absolutely. You could turn it into an ebook for sure. So you can, you could offer a chapter of your ebook for free. And then if people want the whole ebook, maybe you make it $7. Most people would think $7, of course. And hopefully, you know, they read the whole thing, but even if it sits on their computer for 3 years and they don't read it for 3 years, it's still available in 3 years from now. And you maybe don't have that deal available in 3 years from now when you offer it. So just, you know, think about that. I love that you both, you know, shared those ideas. A higher, something that's like the third tier up, a great example, all of you coaches, could be doing a group coaching package. You could say, if you would like to join in on having coaching every Friday from 3 until 4 in the afternoon, we're going to talk about winding up your week with, let's say, your resiliency coach, with resiliency, and planning to come back Monday strong and shut down your week so that you have a weekend off. Like, if those are your pain points of your ideal client, here's the thing, you put it out there and you say, would this benefit anybody? You can even phone up some of your clients and say, hey, I know that it's not easy to afford coaching right now, or that your industry is really struggling right now, and so they were planning on sending you to coaching, and then all of that's on hold. Tell you what, let's have a few really great folks together supporting each other, and everybody will cost share of the investment in coaching. Some people may be like, you know what, thank you so much, Paula, for offering that to me right now, because I didn't know. You know, Danielle, you help people who are leaving abusive relationships. Maybe you have a virtual program that is, how do you get ready to leave? And perhaps it's some live coaching, perhaps it's some group stuff, perhaps it's just some virtual, you know, getting your plan in action tool, and that it comes with a one-on-one with you through Zoom whenever they want it. And that's available to people right now when maybe they can't get together with you face to face, or that the reality is they're afraid to leave right now because of how physically distanced, we don't know what the world can expect, or that so many people have lost their jobs right now. Maybe they're afraid to leave even an abusive partner. Like, think of it as a way to serve people by making what you have available offered in different formats, at different price points, and in different ways of, you know, of working with folks. So I hope that that's helpful. And if you have more questions about that, then please let me know. Okay, so let's keep on going. So you're rating.
Sorry.
Go ahead,
so
please.
Just a question on that. So is it okay to, like, if you're offering free meditation, and then to kind of put a plug in, like, oh, I'm going to start doing some group coaching, like just mention that at the end, like, you know, I'm going to be doing this, or not? I'm worried that they might.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Sharon, it's a great question. And if anyone else has a similar question to Sharon, just say, yeah, me too, in the chat, because probably you're not the only one, Sharon, that has that question. If I've been offering something for free, how do I transition it to something that there's another offer? I think you just make it very invitational. For anyone who wants more of what I'm talking about today, I'm going to share with you how you can do that, but if nobody needs it, that's totally great too. So I think you could just say this is available, and you could say you can go to this location and you can learn more about it, or, you know, I'm going to continue to offer this for free for anyone who wants a bit more structure and accountability around it. There's also this other very affordable option to you as well. It can be at both ends. I'm a solution focused practitioner. It's all about the both and, right? Fellow coaches, it's about the both and. Absolutely, you can continue to have this for free. And if anybody would like, and this is where you insert benefit, if anyone would like accountability around it, if anyone would like consistent time slots, if anyone would like smaller group format, if anyone would like a one-on-one meditation practice guideline with this plan that I custom build for you as well as the meditation, times. Like, what is the thing that they need from you, Sharon? And you can just sort of noodle on that a little bit. No problem, Rania. What's the thing that they need from you so that you can continue to benefit or continue to serve them in a way that they need it? So I think just mentioning that something else is available, folks, you tell me, like, do you think just mentioning that something else is available, is that something that you think would be helpful? Just type yes. Because here's the thing, Sharon, people may be thinking, how else can I work with Sharon? Yeah, so Paula and Rhonda are giving you support here. Denise is saying, yeah, for sure. Because if you don't tell them, how are they going to know? And if you're showing up to serve, this is the key thing. When we show up to serve, even if we make money from serving, we're still serving. All of you coaches and trainers and facilitators and other experts on the line, even though they pay you money to do it and you love doing it, do you not deserve to get paid? Right? Like, Denise, I'm sure you would, if you were independently wealthy, you would plan dream vacations for people all the time. Am I right? If I'm right, just Denise, just tell me, would you like plan dream vacations for people if you never had a mortgage and your fridge was always full of food and your kids like had like rich benefactors to send them to university and stuff? Absolutely you would. So, but given that well, maybe that is the case, Denise, but like, let's assume for a moment that Denise isn't a millionaire, and she needs to be able to pay for her groceries and pay her mortgage. People are willing to pay you to plan their dream vacations because you're really darn good at it. So I guess I just want to say to everybody, and this is part of why I wanted to offer this to everybody, is that I'm seeing so many people giving so much of the stuff that they used to charge for away for free. And if you're going to do that, just have a plan. That's all I'm going to suggest is, where does it lead to? When people are like, this is so great, it needs to lead somewhere because they want more of your genius. You have so much value to contribute. Like Denise, I'm thinking, if let's say somebody loves to travel and they're so missing traveling, like what might be the way in which you could help people plan their perfect 10-year travel roadmap? And I like the whole concept of a roadmap because you are in, like maps. I know we don't actually physically use maps. All the Gen Zs will be very confused if we actually call it a map because they've never held one. But, but like imagine if your services, you help right now, you do some consulting work or you call it coaching or whatever, and you help people plan their dream 10-year travel roadmap. And yeah, they can't travel right now, but oh, won't that feel so great to be able to hold on to that plan of what it is? They're going to definitely have you plan every one of those trips for the next 10 years. And they get to feel hopeful now about it. And you get to help, while you're not as busy right now, do the background work of, that they've paid for to help with all the decision making they need to know, to go through to be able to figure out that plan and so forth. So, I mean, I think that that's really cool for people who are very committed adventurers and travelers, and which is probably one of your ideal customers. They would probably be willing to pay for that, but that's likely not currently something that is available. If it's available, I don't know about it. So how could you, just consider, what would I normally do in my day-to-day business, shift it a little bit so I can do that now. And then it also builds loyalty and it builds a pipeline of great work later on. Sharon, when you do some free mindfulness sessions, if you want more accountability and you want, a smaller group format, you can come here and do it this way. And then the next offer might be, you can do this half-day mindfulness training. And then maybe the next thing is we bring it into your organization. How does it fit on that pyramid with free mindfulness at the bottom? And then there's other ways that your raving fans can work with you. And you notice it gets shorter at the top of that pyramid for a reason. because you don't need, in your highest touch offerings, you only have so much capacity, ladies. So it's okay that people fall out of the funnel, so to speak, or that they can't be in that top of the funnel right away. It's okay. Because, you know, understanding your raving fans experience right now is really key. So what do they need most? I keep using your example, Denise, about travel. Your adventurers are so stressed and frustrated at home, I'm sure. So hearing what they have to say. I mean, I know for me in doing I do a lot of work with essential services, training, speaking, and coaching. So they say, I have no time. My leaders are struggling. We can't afford your rates right now. This is all great, but how do we sustain it? So all the things that are on the right-hand side are pivots for me. Micro learning modules, never had micro learning modules for clients. Every month there's a new topic that comes out. I've had a client, the first client who bought it now covers my time and the development costs, and I can sell it to my list now as well to serve other people. But I didn't agree to build it until I had a client who made it, you know, a cost effective solution and time investment solution. So sell it first and then build it, rather than build it and then you feel like you have to scramble to sell it. But again, if you listen to your customers, it's a lot easier to sell. And it's okay if the first conversation doesn't sell it. These virtual sessions that this particular essential service organization bought, they didn't buy them on the first go. It took 3 conversations with the ED where her people kept reaching out to me and going, I'm drowning, I'm struggling, I don't think I'm gonna make it, until they decided, you know what, maybe virtual learning's not so scary or bad after all. You could do briefer coaching sessions. Normally people work with me for a year. My essential services clients have asked me, could we take that year package and we divide it amongst all my leaders? The answer right now is yes. Will it be yes in a year from now? Probably not. I don't know, but it is right now. But I'm not reducing my fees because I still have to stand tall on my fee integrity, because I don't want them coming back to me in a year going, you know how you gave us that deal last year? We'd still like it. Oh, that would be awkward. And then you could bundle briefer packages together with other things that are valuable, team coaching, spreading cost over time, as opposed to everybody paying in one shot. Maybe you're going to have a virtual offering. Some of you have already talked about that. Accountability sessions. So there's lots of things that you can come up with. These are just ideas, and frankly, real ideas that I've put into place. We're our group, there's Sharon at the top there, smiling away. We do a writing accountability group. That would have never happened beforehand, because I know a lot of really amazing experts. I knew if we got into community together, I would be more accountable to write my next book. Folks are accountable to write their book, and we get to hang out with cool people every morning. So it's kind of a win-win-win. It's not as expensive as if people worked one-on-one with me. And frankly, I'm not the right person to work one-on-one intensively with to write a book anyway, but I definitely know enough to be dangerous. So I definitely can help people in this sort of group format and create community, which is actually more my superpower than anything else. So remember, everyone, loyalty is proven when you don't have to. That was that whole like recognition campaign. And here's my bonus tip to everybody: fix stuff now. If you're spending a lot of time going back and forth with email, get a calendar scheduler. They're like $100 a year. If you feel like your infographics are amateur, maybe invest in Canva. Do experiment with the free Canva stuff and maybe spend the $100 a year on Canva. Here's a little side hack to this. Keep a spreadsheet. And I've never heard, nobody who ever worked with me in corporate would ever think I'd ever say the words keep a spreadsheet, because I was always the anti-spreadsheet person. Can't we just talk about it rather than put it on a spreadsheet? But actually there's a benefit to spreadsheets. You want to know what you're spending your money on, because times like this is where I've gone back and went cancel, 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 because they're no longer relevant. But for now, you may find that a lot of these systems help you to automate and fix issues. If you don't have a customer relationship management system, now may be the time to put one in at the lowest price point option. If you don't have a place where you're keeping anybody who's interested in working with you and send out things regularly through a mailing list, now may be a time to do that. we can sort of I'm going to stay on the line a little bit longer. If anyone has questions about any of these technologies or anything that we've talked about, I'm happy to get into it. But the bottom line is definitely find ways to systematize and automate your business. The other thing is, if you are working with some non-A players, an assistant who isn't getting back to you, who's sending things out, spelling mistakes, blah, 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 now's the time to cut them loose, because it's costing you money and stress and you don't need it. And I've had to make a lot of difficult choices this year about staff, and it's not easy every time, but it's essential every time. So whatever breaks, this is your opportunity to fix it. Whatever's not working right now, how do you fall back in love with your business, your life, your mission? Because I believe every one of you deserves to love your business, whether you're just thinking about your side hustle or starting, or you're actually in it. How do you stay in love with it? Because here's the thing. You've all put in the time working in the corporate world in whatever shape or form that was. If you don't want to go back there, which I'm not saying it's the devil or anything. I mean, we all serve people in the corporate world. But if you really are sure that that's not, you don't want that as your plan B, definitely find a way to still love your business and make money so that you don't ever feel like you need to go back there and do that. And whatever helps you to keep it real. For me, it's my kids. And my husband too, almost 22 years, definitely like him, want to stay connected to them. So what keeps it real for you? It may be your mission, like, Danielle, it's probably your mission. Denise, you absolutely love travel and adventure. Like whatever those things are that are anchor you to keep it real, keep those front and center, and you don't have to forsake those right now. So I guess my question to you is, what's been a big aha for you, or a confirmation for you so far of what we've chatted about? Just, Sharon, it's a lot of fun. No. Is it not a lot of fun, Sharon? Is that why you said that? I see you.
First statement was, it's a lot of fun, was the book writing.
Oh.
And then I guess I was the next one to post. And when you talked about going back to work for someone, I'm like, no.
Oh, right.
But they ran in together. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. I love it. Okay. So Paula, diversification. Awesome. Danielle, be creative. Cool. Julie, the 1 year from now exercise. I love it. And if you like that, Julie, and everyone else who like that exercise, the next step to that is, what will I be saying about my business in 5 years? And build it out. In fact, even get an image that depicts it. And then 10 years. And then on my retirement, date of my retirement, Denise, so additional, one more revenue stream. And I love how you said one, Denise, and you're not going to do everything and boil the ocean. You're going to get one, which is so, so, so smart. I think someone unmuted themselves. Anyone here want to unmuted themselves? You want to share what your next step is?
Sure, I can.
Or not? Yeah, go for it.
Which person?
You go ahead, Patricia. You're on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So many ahas. This has been awesome for just inspiring me, but I'm really thinking about I hesitate calling it coaching because I don't consider myself a coach, but mentorship, training, some sort of group package.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, especially since you serve speakers and speakers have time on their hands. So imagine if we could all cost share your expertise and then supporting each other in community with that. I think that's such a great idea. Rhonda's aha is figuring out what your client needs. Yeah. And provide a solution. So emailing them, love it. Share and pivot. Don't be afraid. Girl, don't be afraid. Look into the light. Look into the light for sure. There is lightness there. Okay. So if you haven't already got these two resources, please email me, or you could go to Greatness Biz and you can get them, the blueprint and the book. It tells you, just email me if you like the blueprint, you maybe want the book. I'm happy for you to have them if you don't already have them. And as a little side note, I created the content of this book in 1 day. And if you're curious about that, we'll have to have another conversation because I'm happy to share it with you. And it was a 6 days of an assistant's time. And it was 1 day of my time to create that booklet. So I want you to see how you can create a lead magnet in a very brief amount of time just by seeing that. So you can get that just by going to Greatness Biz. Okay, if you think that working together would be cool, and if it's not something that you're interested in, that's totally cool, fine. So number one is we have an entrepreneurship program. I don't tell people about it because I don't want people to be thinking that I'm the entrepreneurship trainer. I'm not. I just want people to learn the things a little faster and with less pain that I learned. We have a whole bunch of webinars in that program that are all recorded and available in real time. We have a course on book writing. We have a writing accountability group that starts up again in June. It's the current one is full, and we're almost halfway through that second cohort of now. The June cohort will be the third one, and almost everybody who's in the first one signed up to be part of the second one. Few folks in this group are in our cohort too, so they'd probably be able to give you some feedback if you want to secretly message Sharon, direct message Sharon or Rania, and just say like, hey, is it actually any good? You can ask them. And the other thing is I'm going to do a half-day retreat on creating virtual systems in your business, and also how do you consistently creating that content. So turning that standard operating procedure that has multiple steps and walking you through it step by step so that you feel you can consistently, as in every week or every other week, however that frequency of creating content is. And so, in the past, each of these things are an individual thing. That entrepreneurship course is $14.95. Each of the modules, the webinars, normally they only go with the course, but in the past when they've been offered, they've been $100 each for a spot. The virtual writing accountability group is normally $297. The Write Your Great Book Now virtual program, that's $297. Virtual systems, I've never offered that before, but when I've offered business strategic planning retreats, they've been $500 because I want it to be accessible. And I just think that I also don't want people to have things longer than they need it, because I've been really frustrated lately of trying to get untangled from systems that I no longer need. It's only going to be a month by month thing. So if you're interested in it, you just email me. Like, there is no lead magnet thing. This is just, I decided I was doing this webinar last week because a few folks were asking me questions about like, how have you been able to survive in the pandemic? So I just figured 2 days ago what would be the next step. If this is a value to you, great. Love to have you in all of these communities and programs. If it's not right for you, that's totally fine too, my friends, because it's only good if it's of value. So just to quickly sum up, some things that we do through those 5 dimensions. One is we create our core area of expertise. We make sure you have that book or workbook that builds your credibility. It helps you figure out your next offering and diversify your revenue streams. In that program, we teach about reaching out to raving fans and your content creation system to keep that pipeline warm so that they're ready to buy from you, setting up your virtual office, and having technology solutions to reduce your work. Those are my big goals for people who decide that that's something that they want. All right. What questions do you have? And we've got 2 minutes of our allotted time, but I'm happy to stay for up to an hour if people have questions, you just want to talk, explore things. So stay for as long as you can and you want to have discussion. Just feel free to unmute yourself and say any question you have, anything you want to workshop, go for it. Yeah, just unmute yourself. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to stop sharing my screen if you don't mind. And then that way I can see all your beautiful faces here. Let me just, hold on. Sorry, one moment, and then you will have my full brain. Stop share. Oh, Zoom keeps moving things around on me. Anyone else here have Zoom and you're like, did you just upgrade overnight? Hold on, there we go. Stop share. Oh. There we go. Now I can see you all. Awesome. Sorry. All right. Nicole.
Hi, Sarah. It's Nicole Jolly. I wanted to thank you so much for doing this. This was really great. And
Good.
I really, really appreciate it. I actually mentioned to a few people that I thought they should come, and I see that they didn't join. You said that you were going to have the recording. So how do we access that afterwards?
Well, that's such a good question. Yes. What I'm going to do is if they join the Greatness Biz group, what I'll do is I'll put the link in there. And partly why I put the link in there, my friends, is why I keep saying is I don't want to create brand confusion. Like, I don't want people thinking that all of a sudden I'm like the the business person. I'm just teaching people what I've learned along the way. So Nicole, I will absolutely commit to, before I go into the house when my husband has made me dinner by 6, because this,
Awesome.
here's a little life hack, everybody. Be so busy in the office until 6 o'clock that everybody gets so hungry they have to cook. I
It's a
don't
good
think I'll
one.
ever be leaving the office earlier than 6 o'clock now, because that's apparently the sweet spot of when my husband and both teenagers are so ornery, they have to cook something. So yeah, anyway, but I say that tongue in cheek, but Nicole, by the end of the day, I will upload a link to this and put it in the Greatness Biz group. So anyone in the
Perfect.
Greatness Biz group can watch the replay and also check out the slides.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And thank you
My
for doing this.
You're welcome. Did you have a follow-up question on anything in particular or an idea you want to workshop with us?
Not particularly. I mean, there were a few things. I took quite a few notes. One of the things that I think I might offer, which is something I've been kind of toying with, but it really was cemented here. So I'm a coach, and I've been thinking a lot about offering spot coaching, and like just 1 or 2 sessions. And you know, I was in the panel. I was listening to the panel you did on Friday. So to me, that was one of the things that came to mind as an alternative kind of revenue idea. But the idea that I got from you today 100% is going back to clients who I've completed with and just said, look, it's COVID time, and I'd be happy to offer them, you know, 2 free sessions just to help get them through if they think it'll work. And that, like, not for lead generation or anything, but just to be helpful. So that's something that I'm really excited to do. And that happened since 12 o'clock. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And just, Nicole, I want to let everyone know that if you're doing those thought sessions and you want to make sure it's really not burdensome in your calendar, if you haven't already set up Calendly, Schedule Once, one of those tools that allows for scheduling, and did you know that you can add a payment feature to that?
Did not
You
know
can
that.
have, if you have a discount. So let's say, Nicole, you think it's very easy for people to afford $25. Let's say you could say you can have up to 2 sessions with me for $25. Here's the link, and only my clients get this link for you know, coaching for $25, and I won't be able to offer it more than twice, but you can have up to 2 appointments for $25. So I want to offer you the invitation, Nicole, that one of the things is you may want to extend a very like generous, still though revenue generating option. And if you have them pay through a payment gateway and you've set up a special link for that, then you don't have to process any of the paperwork. It just,
awesome.
They just pay for it. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. Cause I'm on Calendly, and sorry to monopolize the time, but one quick question, and I'm not sure if you can answer it or if other coaches on the line might be able to, but when I was thinking about offering spot coaching to like the general public, my only question is about, and again, I'm sorry if I'm asking the wrong person this, but
I'm sure lots of people will relate to this question. So go.
Yeah. So, well, just in terms of contracts. So normally when I have a coaching client, we do a contract just to keep everything kind of legal and for liability and et cetera. So if you're offering 1 session, do I have to get someone to fill out an 8-page contract kind of thing? I don't know.
I don't even have an 8-page contract, and I have professional liability. It's nowhere on my professional liability. Again, the benefit of doing a Calendly link is you can have them click off that they agree to certain terms.
Okay.
Or that they need
yeah.
to,
And then just post it. Perfect. Okay.
Well, and then that's that when they click that they agree to these terms, like you could have a link there that says, go and read the terms here. And if they click that, and there's your record, your coaching record.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Danielle, you had unmuted yourself.
Yes, I have a question concerning the help with the writing of the book. I am in the process of writing a book right now, and probably this is something that I could use. But I'm not sure. How does it work with you? Does it is it something that you have a set time, or how does it go?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we write from 8:30 to 10 Eastern Standard Time every day. If we get folks from around the world, which we do have a few folks from South Africa and other countries in our various cohorts, we could potentially adjust the time. We show up every day. We have the same format. So at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, we do the check-in. We set our intention. We talk about any issues that may get in the way of us writing that day or an obstacle that has shown up. So that's the first 10 minutes. We write for an hour. At the end of that hour, we celebrate because we're coaches, right? So we celebrate word count or getting unstuck or what have you. So yeah, Sharon's in it. Was in cohort A for awesome, B for brilliance, and who knows, we may get to see her yet, and C for commitment. And then we talk about issues and obstacles, like things, or ask each other for help. So sometimes people are, does anyone know an expert in this? Does somebody have research on that? I see a lot of people who have corporate experience. Could I interview you about this one thing I'm stuck on? We do also, I bring on experts. So if people are asking, let's say, a lot of questions around publishing, then I go and I find a publisher person to come and do a bonus live Q&A, and it's totally Q&A. There's no slides. It's just ask this person anything. We have a digital marketer and book marketer and publisher coming on. We've got a sponsorship guru who's coming on in May. So anyone who's in that group gets to stay and have access to all of those live Q&As. So even if they're not in the current cohort, they still get a chance to stay. We've got a closed community for that. And because, let's say that people who are in cohort, awesome, most of them continued in B, but let's say you were done at the end of this, but by the time you're done writing your book, now you need the help with getting your book sponsored. Well, you can still come to that session. You're just not in the daily sessions. So that's what happens. I don't edit anybody's book. Like, it's not a high touch thing in terms of, I can't find somebody, a publisher for them. There are other people that we can sort of connect folks to help you find those people. But in terms of dealing with any obstacles, keeping momentum going, Sharon, you can probably speak to, like, why did you want to be part of the book, Sharon, or book writing group?
Well, I guess I've always wanted to write a second book, and it's being productive in this time where it's like, I love the idea. Get up every morning, grab my breakfast, make a cup of tea, set up my computer, sit down, and then I have something to focus on for 90 minutes. And if you don't feel good during that day, there's always someone in the group who's going to lift your spirits, and give you a tip or do something. So, so part of it was having the discipline and the support, so that I'm not worrying about so many other things. And, then it snowballs. You start writing. It's amazing.
Well, that sounds pretty good.
Good.
All right.
If you want to find out more about it, Danielle, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Let me know what questions you have. And you could even just join us for one day and just see what it's all about to experience it too. Yeah. Rhonda, I saw you unmuted yourself. Did you have another question?
I would like to know more about the virtual system and content retreat that you offer. And you talk about a monthly cost. So what happens during the month?
Yeah, so the courses are that during the month, the courses are available. So there's an entrepreneurship course, which is all about some of the mental roadblocks in entrepreneurship, how to get unstuck from that, how to determine what your core area of expertise is, how to get clients, either nurture existing clients and also how to get additional clients, how to systematize your business. So each week has a different focus, and if you want to pop me an email, I can actually send you a screen capture of each of those different modules. And so there's that. And then there's also the book writing course, which walks you through the book writing or workbook writing fundamentals. Some folks are also using it to create lead magnets and infographics and other tools as freemiums. It's not necessarily writing a book to, let's say, get paid to buy that book. Some of it's as a lead generator is some of the folks in that group. And then there's webinars that are already, hour-long webinars that I've taught folks content around systematizing your business, marketing, and so forth. So that's all already in the course. So if, let's say, you decided I only want to join for a month, you can have access to all of that stuff for that particular month. If you stay, let's say for 2 months, then you can also join that June cohort that starts. I think it's the first Tuesday in June, and write that book or workbook. That retreat that's happening, that'll probably happen end of May, early June, where I'm walking people through. I have released weekly content even during COVID every single week. I get my clients responding to me. Even though I'm creating content on the fly now, I also have a way of when we don't have crisis times of very productively and efficiently producing, content in bulk. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how to take an existing piece of content and use it in multiple ways. Turning video then into blog posts, LinkedIn articles, brief posts on social, and how you can systematize all of that so that you get maximum reach. Because I'll tell you, my friends, I have like 2,500 people on my mailing list, but over 7,000 LinkedIn connections, 158 YouTube subscribers. My kids are not impressed by that number, but like those people most of them are not the same person. It's, so how do I reach each of those different not reach as in I want to push things on you, because this is all just free value and content, but it's how do I reach all of those folks in a consistent way? And at first I really struggled, Rhonda, with how do I show up consistently? So that's part of what I'm teaching is the content creation, is how do you release content so you don't lose people off your list, so that you don't, have your numbers in LinkedIn and other things drop, or you want it to continue to go up, and that you don't have to pay for things like Sales Navigator and all those very expensive things. I've tried doing massive Facebook advertising campaigns, thousands of dollars. I listened to all these experts on it. And I'm like, no, you know what? I don't teach any of that stuff, because that's not what I have found works for me in my business. Maybe it works in other people in their business, but as a coach and a speaker, people buy me, and therefore content creation, and then finding really, really good systems to keep that going. I got to tell you, that's like my number one way of being able to warm up clients and keep them going. And that's why, I have 3 emails that I've just received in the last 24 hours from clients saying, hey, you know what? It never even really occurred to me that we could do something right now. What do you think about this? Before I go to my boss, I kind of had this in mind. And we just hop on a call. I actually use something called Cloud HQ, which is a Chrome extension. And I film a little video. I'll just turn it on. I'll be like, hey, Jamie, thank you so much for thinking about recognition right now during COVID. I know it's probably the last thing that your boss is thinking about, but imagine if you could have your comeback strategy so that as soon as people come back on campus, they can't wait to be there, rather than, oh my gosh, why do I not get to work in my pajamas anymore? So let's talk about how they're going to feel really valued and appreciated. You can send this video to your boss if you want, but here's the bottom line. Here's the top 3 things that I think they need: A, B, C. If you think that's a good idea and you want to do it, I'm totally game. Let me know. I'll stop record. That got sent off to him yesterday. And he already has a meeting in my calendar to talk about he asked for how much would it cost? What would it look like? What technology do you need? Answered all of those questions. I said, if you think if your boss says yes, jump into my calendar. He obviously found his boss, talked to his boss. He's in my calendar to talk to him next week. So, but that was because he opens my emails every single week. How do I know? I have a CRM. So before I reached back out to him, I looked at my CRM, which posts has he been watching? And he's been opening all of them, but let's say you had a client who's only opening a few, then you get a chance to see what topics they've been looking at. So then you say your message. So let's say they've been opening up all of the messages around how do I have a sense of connection? Then your response to them is, how we can maintain a sense of connection during COVID is and they don't know that, and this is not sneaky. This is all totally legit. They asked to be on your list, but how to target your message, because your message can perhaps be shared in 18 different ways, but you need to find the right way to target and message them so that they have an easier time of making a buying decision. And that's one of the key things about sales is it's about helping people make buying decisions that work for them. It's not about being salesy or slimy or pitchy or anything. And that's why consistent content creation and showing up to serve our audience is so important, whether it's, mindfulness live sessions or videos on YouTube or tip sheets. It's serving our people so that they know that we're there for them when they're ready to buy from us. Some people, it takes them 5 years of absorbing my content before they're ready to buy from me. Other times they're buying stuff all the time. Some people, it's just very sporadic and I have no idea. Just, they got indigestion, they thought of me and then they called me. So, but I can see through some of these tools that systematize your business, that allows you to see, what is it about what I'm putting out there that they and other people are resonating with. Did that answer your question, Rhonda?
It does.
Or not really? Yeah.
I'll shoot you off.
I have to leave.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I have to leave, but thank you so much. I really, really enjoy it and I appreciate it, and I will get back with you, okay?
Sounds
So
great. Bye, Danielle. Thank you for what you do in the world.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. So that did answer all your questions, Rhonda?
It did. I'm going to shoot you an email to get that screenshot.
Okay.
With the content and take a look at it, because I think it kind of falls in line with what I need to do right now to get my business off the ground. And Sharon, I don't want to take up your time. So if you have a question and you want me to back off, I can shut up for a minute.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. That's fine. We always learn together when people ask questions.
So true.
And I think you'll agree with me, but you can feel free to tell me that you say, hey, you're not on track here, right? But, so right now I have like one main client, and it's through an individual who I used to work with, I trained him. He really respected what I did. He went to work for another company and he insisted on only having me come in and work with his team.
Love it.
I've had repeat business, but it's been on hold because of COVID, because it's a University of Ontario technology. So
Yes.
there are people working from home right now. And the latest thing I've been doing, there's one half-day session left, and they need some stuff to happen that COVID has put a hold on, right? But I don't know how to generate more business. And I think part of the problem is I need to make a name for myself, as in being consistent and being, I forget what the words are, but just so that people recognize this is Rhonda, this is her expertise, this is who she is.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how to use any of these systems. I mean, I'm technically sound in what I know, but there's a lot of things I just don't know. And that's—
You have to know it. Yeah.
I don't know how to use LinkedIn effectively, even though I read the Josh Turner book on I forget the name of the book now, but it talks about how to use LinkedIn, and he had some good ideas. But I want to be able to learn how to use these automated systems, how to generate material. I want to create some workbooks, as you've suggested, as lead magnets to get out there. I don't necessarily want to write a book as in a big book, but like short workbooks I'd like to generate and create. I'd like to do like what you suggested, like a chapter, and then the other 6 chapters you purchase, that type of thing. I'd like to be able to create a professional website. I believe in having landing pages, even though I don't have that, but I do have the knowledge that that's successful if you want to target a certain type of client with certain type of business, right? Because you can't put everything on one, otherwise, as you say, you confuse your clients and they wonder what it is. But I need to learn how to do that. Like I know what I need to do, but I don't know how to do it. And I'm thinking this program that you have on virtual systems and content retreat might help me get started. And
well, and the other thing is in the course, in the entrepreneurship course, because all those things together are all the $297 per month, as long as you want it, So if you think I got all the value I needed, everything in there is $297 a month. No, sorry if that was confusing. Yeah. What not to do, right, is confuse your buyers. So yeah, no, everything in there together is $297 a month. So take as much as you want out of all of those things. And so people who are still in the program will always get access to the writing group. You know, as long as it's running, we'll always get access to those virtual programs. You know, frankly, I don't take people out of my virtual programs anyway. So even if somebody's in it for a month, they get to still be in it. And in non-COVID times, people buy those things individually, but now I'm just sort of bundling it all together because I think that makes it more accessible for folks. But in terms of things that you can lean on is, yes, we're going to have that virtual session so that people can learn from me and I can teach people things that they need to know in their business. So it's not sort of a one size fits all, because I actually don't really believe that there is. I don't believe in that in my, you know, in my recognition consulting work. So I definitely don't believe that that's the case in business. But there are some webinars in there that I think would help right away for you, Rhonda. There's a whole one on LinkedIn for business, you know, as an entrepreneur. There's a one on understanding social media better and how it can help you as a solopreneur. I don't have any content on helping people build a website, because I actually teach people how do you confirm and clarify what your core area of expertise is so that you're so clear on that. And then you have a professional build it for you, because a professional is going to make you look professional. I mean, by all means, if you want to dabble with Squarespace and all those other like sort of build to your own tools, that's fine. I just think if we want to send people to a page that's really strong, I think we need, frankly, I think we need them to, I think we need a professional website. That just the caliber of websites is so high now that people expect that. For people who have specific only one area, they're only speakers or they're only coaches, then you could get around it by having a profile on ICF or on, you know, on eSpeakers for speakers. So, you know, I would just assume people just do that, then build a, you know, a website that's kind of because I don't want anyone thinking that I can cut her. Rhonda says that she's $8,000, but clearly her website's not an $8,000 coach. So, or like, you know, they get sticker shock when you tell them your price. So I think that a good website's a worthy investment, but I do think though that doing the work in building a really clear brand and messaging, which is what we teach in the entrepreneurship course, is really essential as a first step. Because I'll tell you, I did it the other way. I hired somebody, an inexpensive somebody, 6 years ago to build a website for me. And I completely, within a year and a half, I was confused what I was selling, let alone the buyer. And then I had to start all over again. So I launched a new one, and actually I'm already working on my third one in 5.5 years, because I'm even clearer on what I do. I like my fees have increased. And so I have to increase the caliber of my, you know, of my website. And I've just received feedback from clients and said, oh, well, you're, you know, I was surprised. Like I knew that you'd be friendly from your website, but I didn't realize you'd be so insert other desirable characteristic here. And I'm like, oh my God, I guess I got to work on my website so that it reflects that too. So that's a bit long-winded. So sorry if that's
that's very helpful. That's very
yeah. Is it good?
Appreciate it. This has been incredibly good.
Good. I'm so glad. Well, I'm glad you prioritized it, and I'm really excited, Rhonda, for your next act. It's fun to pivot from the work life into like your business and have full control. So I'm really excited for you. Sharon, did you have some questions as well?
Yeah. So because I have a website, and it's one that I share with my husband. We're both speakers on mindfulness. And then I have my CAPS profile, right?
Yeah.
And I do my keynoting. And can I just add I don't know whether I need to like create a whole brand new website, you know, Sharon Babineau Speaks, with what I do, which is a bit of a pivot, because I do some inspirational, motivational, and then, you know, with my background in the military, et cetera, et cetera. Can I just put a landing page on there? Is that enough? Would that be enough for people to just like add a landing page to my current website and then direct people to there when they want a keynoter?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a couple of ways that people have done it. One is if you kind of want your business to be your main thing that people associate with you, you could have a button that directs people to a page on your website. And then you have a speaker, Sharon Speaks page. You could have it also direct them to e-speakers, which you get for free. And instead of spending the money and having somebody design a professional Sharon Babineau Speaks, you could pay for the premium version of e-speakers and be able to use all the analytics behind it, be able to apply for jobs to the job board, all of that. And that's where, by the way, on my speaker page, all of my headshots, intros, bios, things like that, I direct people, even on my own website, I direct people to that e-speaker profile. Okay. So that they can I only have one place to update it. And I can very quickly delete and upload a Word document myself on eSpeakers because it's an easy to use system. I don't trust me in the background of my website. I mean, maybe I'd be fine, but it just feels too intimidating for me. So I would have to pay somebody on my tech team $85 an hour to do it for me. So I'm schoolish, so I really like to save money. If I don't have to spend it, I don't. So that's what I do, is I put anything that is a constantly changing thing, bios, web, those sorts of things, I put it on eSpeakers. If you feel like you want to be able to direct people directly to Sharon Speaks, you could buy the URL, sharonspeaks.com, or like whatever URL you want, because greatnessbiz.com is just a URL that I bought, and it's a landing page. That's it. And it's integrated with my CRM so that I know it tags people in my CRM. Hey, they expressed some interest in this thing. And they can, I hardly ever send things out to those folks who have that tag, but if they get something from me and they're like, I don't want anything from you anymore, they can unsubscribe. But I didn't want to put it on my website as a place to go because I don't want to confuse anybody. My core clients, I don't want anybody, my corporate clients, to think, oh, wait a minute, am I going to bring you in? You're going to help everybody feel appreciated. And then you're going to say, by the way, I'll help you leave your job if you don't like it around here. I don't want any of that stuff happening. But occasionally people will say to me afterwards, I kind of want to do what you do. So like, is there any, and I'm like, sure, you can grab this resource over at greatnessbiz.com. And so that's how I kind of handled it, Sharon, is yes, I bought a different URL, and then I can decide whatever I want to do in the future. I could turn it into an entire business if I sell Greatness Magnified and the Frog trademark, which I'm thinking about doing one day, and I only do the entrepreneurship stuff. I've got it, and I've already started building a list for if that ends up being my I think I'd love to do this full time, is do all the women entrepreneurship stuff. Right now, I still love my recognition stuff, and there's so much work to be done. I don't want to leave that behind. But it's important to sort of know, if you have a few revenue streams, how do I be building that pipeline of folks should I decide that now's the time? And I'm really grateful to have that list, my friends, because that's the first thing for this writing group. I sent out a message to that group and I said, hey, if there's anyone interested, and some of the people in the writing group came from that list. I've got a tag on there on recognition in my CRM. I made another offer to people about a recognition deep dive case study opportunity. If people are part of my membership site, people were too overwhelmed when I sent it. Nobody bought it. But I had the tag on there to be able to send a message directly to certain people who express an interest in a specific thing, if that was right for them. So I tested 3 different things. One of the 3 things worked right away. One of the 3 things didn't work at all. And the third thing is now working. So it was probably better that way, because I didn't have time to do all 3 things right away anyway. But having that URL and integrating it with your CRM, Sharon, means that you can know that people have expressed an interest in your speaking, versus, let's say, your meditation, where they sign up for your meditation classes, even if they're free, it tags meditation in your CRM, those sorts of things.
Yeah, it'll be difficult to, be charging online $25 for a meditation and then ask 2,000 to speak on stage, right?
Maybe not.
No? Okay. And that's a worry. I do have SharonBabineau.com, and it's just parked. I just grabbed it before some stripper bought it, you know, because I want people looking me up, and then it's like,
Yes.
ah, she did that porn. Yeah.
Good idea. Very good idea. Yes.
So for like what, 20, $30 a year, I've been holding on to it until I build that new page. Because right now we're mindful solutions for change. And before that was Mind Break. And then, so my other challenge is that, and I need to learn all this. I guess this is my thing to do during COVID, I guess. Like really work like a business. Like last year I was sick, so I didn't work. I lost a lot of contact. I lost a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
So even for me, like my database, it was notes. It was like folders. It was always referrals. You know, it was just tumble. People would call me. I'd pick up the phone basically. I wasn't like crazy rich, but I mean, it was fulfilling.
Yeah.
So that's all stopped, dried up. So what am I
still
thinking?
there.
How do I start reaching out to them, and the touch points and the like, I'm not going to like just call the HR person at in Brampton, where she brought me in 3 times, you know, hey, how's it going? Like, I don't know, unless I guess I offer like, here's some free information. Even if I don't have my own, I can use someone else's, right? You know, oh, I saw these 5 tips from,
Absolutely,
you know, CamMed or whatever, and they're saying this, like, because I don't want to start redeveloping stuff. I know I'm at my limit right now of what I can do, but I can always share other people's work.
You could also just turn on your camera like this and just say, hey everyone, you haven't heard from me in a while, but I really want you to know that mindfulness is more important now than ever before. I'm going to give you 5 tips on how you can be more mindful, and it's going to take 2 minutes. Are you ready? Okay, number 1, da, 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 da. Number 2, da, 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 da. Number 3, da, da, da. And by the way, if you want a resource for number 3, you can go and grab it on mindful.com. Number 4, da, 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 da. Number 5, da, 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 da. And remember, here's your bonus hack. You deserve it. You're worth it. And remember, you can always reach out to me if you have any questions. Take care, everybody. Stay strong. Done.
Excellent.
That's it. And then you save it. Yeah.
Wow.
You know what, my friends? You do it all the time, it gets easy. And that's the thing. That's part of the consistency is key. Consistency gets people showing up, consuming your content. It makes you comfortable. It makes you better. And it allows you to serve in the moment. And so that's part of why now I do video responses to my clients, because I figure if they're trying to convince their boss that I'm going to be articulate, probably if I send them an articulate response to their email through a video email, not only is it frankly faster and better for the non-detail oriented people who make spelling mistakes, but also they can forward it to their boss and say, hey, this is the one I was telling you about. Do you think we should invite her in? And should we let her loose on our people? And they may be like, no, that person's way too energetic for 7:30 in the morning. Okay, good. Better to know now than waste an hour on a prospecting call with the boss who doesn't like me. So, you know, I think serving, that's the first thing I would recommend to you, Sharon, is just, you know, turn on your video camera, film a video, and then here's what you can do. Download it to your computer, upload it to your YouTube channel, send it out to your list, and you can type these words. It's been a while. I've not been well, but please know I haven't forgotten about you. In fact, I've created this video of 5 mindful practices that you deserve to do for yourself right now. Is there anything I can do to help? Question mark. Virtual hugs, comma, Sharon, or whatever your tagline is. And then upload the video and send it. Start front to back. It may take you an hour. And you will feel so good, Sharon. You will have such a juicy dopamine hit. And then you know what makes it even better? When somebody emails you back and says, I had no idea you're unwell. Are you okay? Or thank you so much. That was so helpful. You don't know how much I needed that. Or do you mind if I send this to my kids' principal so that they can send it to the whole school? Yeah. So just show up to serve right now in the easiest possible way that you can do it. And then the next one could totally be, It doesn't have to be a video. It could just be, here's the 3 best mindful resources I've come across in the last week. And that can, here's what I've been reading could be in the subject line. Like, it's seriously, it just doesn't have to be tough. It really doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be much.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. And I think also like on Zoom, because I was looking at, yeah, okay. My husband just looked at me. He's going to Harvey's. He's going to Harvey's. He wants to know if I want onion rings. He wrote me a note. I like the dip too, don't forget.
The answer is always
veggie burger. When you get us a veggie burger,
right, Rhonda?
Yes, for sure.
The answer is always yes.
Oh, I would take some onion rings right now.
Yeah. Oh my
I
God.
love onion rings. That's my thing.
Is there a lunch?
You can go ask them.
I want to know how Sharon.
Now everybody wants something from.
Yeah. Thank you. I think Niagara's too far to drive, but I appreciate the offer. Yeah. Rhonda, what were you going to ask?
Sharon, I wanted to know how you got into speaking, because that's something I'd really like to do. And it's something I've always had a very strong interest since, I tell you, back in 2000, I discovered that's something I'd like to do. And at work, I've done speaking for different sessions and training and stuff, but I really would like to be somebody who's known as a speaker. And I wondered how you got into that and got jobs to do that.
Yeah, well, I kind of fell into it. So really based on a life experience that I went through with my daughter, who was sick with cancer. And she has her own beautiful story or beautiful legacy that she left. And I'll just put it as simply as I can, because it's not that it's hard, it's actually quite lovely. But when she was battling cancer, she was given a wish from the Children's Wish Foundation, and anything they said, and she had saw a show about children in Africa starving and decided that's where her wish would go. And so she became known as the girl who gave her wish away, and she passed at age 15. And so the story was in the media a lot, and the community here where I live, really embraced her while she was alive and wanted to continue something. And so that started speaking in the schools, and then keynoting at other places, being asked, to start doing it for free, right? So can you speak? And then speak about bereavement. So what were the things in my life experience that I can take and deliver it? And first off, be well enough, because at the beginning I wasn't. It was like, you can't be on stage when you're in the grief itself, so to be able to be there and really take from it really what you've learned. And it's got to be something that the audience needs, and then also doing training. And I joined CAPS, and I did their ProTrack program, a lot of practicing, a lot of passion and loving it. And so find your story that you can tell. I'm sure you have one or many. And then you just kind of hone it. And there's a lot of places also where you can go and practice, like Speaker Slam, Mo Mondays in Toronto, Fearless Speakers in Vaughan, where you can get up on stage, and some of them are competitions, some are not. You can go to Toastmasters. I think that's a good one for people getting confidence to be on stage. And then CAPS is the business of being a speaker side.
Special speakers.
Yeah, and so
Sorry, what did you say?
Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, and we actually have a meeting next Monday that you can come. We could send you a guest ticket, register you, and then you can check it out. I'm pretty sure it's a business development one, so it's a good topic. So pop me an email, Rhonda, or pop Sharon an email with send me a ticket, and then we'll send you we'll email you a ticket to be able to attend that virtual.
Doing that.
Yay!
Yeah, it's Monday at 9.
What?
Oh, I just created a Zoom call Monday for Monday night. I'm gonna have to cancel it.
That's okay. No worries.
Because my charity work in Africa, and so I got my whole committee. I said, we're going to meet Monday, May 11th. It didn't dawn on me that's a CAPS meeting.
That's okay. Well, it's I think it's 6 or 6:30 to 9. Yeah, so you might be okay depending on what time it is, but yeah, you're wearing a lot of hats, Sharon.
I know.
So, and Rhonda, speaking for me, I started as a trainer and coach and facilitator. That's what I went out and started my business, saying that those are the things that I do. And then I refined my business a year into it when I was exhausted running around, like all those images I was showing with you at the front of the call. I was just exhausted. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to be well for my kids to make sure they're well? And I'm working harder with less security and no pension than when I was at work. This is ridiculous. So that's when I picked a recognition as a core area of expertise. I thought to myself, like, what do I know work and love more than anything? And that I could really own that space and just fully authentically step into it. And actually the irony is I'd been writing a book about recognition with my co-author that my first book is co-authored. We worked together and this always worked in organizations. So yeah, that's the irony, is that, you know, it was right there, as obvious as the nose on my face. And then was able to, as soon as I found that area of expertise, then that's when it was easier to get speaking gigs, because oh, we have an appreciation event. I've never thought of having a recognition speaker, or we want our people to feel valued, heard, and appreciated. And then I, you know, created the messaging around why, like, what problem does recognition solve? And therefore pick this as opposed to another leadership or culture or workplace health expert. And yeah, sometimes, a lot of the time, I don't get selected because you get rejected more as a speaker than you ever did dating. But that's okay, because there's lots of other business. One, we're not in COVID and nobody's having events.
Yes.
There's lots of other work. So lots of people have different paths. But definitely, you know, one of the reasons why we focus in the program first on clarify your expertise and own it is so that it's very hard to get booked as a speaker and referred if people don't know what your core area of expertise is. Unless you're like a famous person or you got an Olympic medal and it's like, we just want the medal. But sure, if you got a message, that'd be great. But, you know, we're really hiring you for the medal. I don't have a medal. So
Trump has a purple cross.
See, there you
President
go.
Trump, some veteran gave it to him. He's like, oh, great, I have and he acted as if it was really earned. I have a purple cross. It's like, no, you have somebody else's purple cross.
Exactly. Yeah. People can fake, can detect fake for sure. So we want to definitely own what actually is our story and our expertise. So yeah. Yeah, but come to a meeting, pop me or share in an email or message us in the, you know, direct message us in the Facebook group, and we'd love to have you a part of it. It's an amazing organization. We're both on the board at the Toronto chapter. So, you know, Sharon's the treasurer. I'm the outgoing president. So, or past president, I should say. So obviously we're big fans of the organization. So.
But that's good. Sharon, I don't have your email address. Do you mind sharing that?
Let me put it in the chat. Does that work?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was amazing spending some time with both of you. Rhonda, you and I have barely had a chance to get to know each other. We didn't know each other existed since it was meant to be, though. It was meant to be. And Sharon, of course, you know, I'm always a raving fan.
I know,
of yours.
you're so amazing. You're just so on your brand all the time.
Thank you.